Welcome to the Fantasy Golf Bag Podcast, presented by FantasyGolfBag.com, your number one source for the most in-depth PGA Tour analysis in the daily fantasy and sports betting world. Each week, our experts will discuss everything you need to know, from the course preview and key stats to top plays, fades, and strategies. Whether golf betting, grinding out cash games, or playing for a big GPP win, our team has you covered. Let's get after it.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Fantasy Golf Bag Podcast. I am your host, Axis, and today I'm joined by Sky of the Golf Gurus to talk to you about the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational, formerly the Bridgestone Invitational, played up in Ohio. It has moved down to Memphis, where Daniel Berger has been the king of the course, dethroned by DJ last year. Used to be played as a lead-in to the U.S. Open. Normally not a deep field. Now we get most of the top golfers in the world. It appears Shane Lowry will probably not be joining the field. He is still partying over in Ireland, which kudos to him. That was awesome. But yeah, don't put him in your lineups. Don't bet him. Probably not going to make it. So I'll bring in Sky. What are your thoughts on the Open really quick before we dive into the FedEx St. Jude?
Yeah, I mean, the Open Championship was incredible. I mean, what Shane did for 4 straight days, specifically on the weekend, was just truly incredible. You know, you would really hope as a viewer like there would have been more electricity on the Sunday, but I mean, he just played so well to not even let anybody into it. So it was awesome to see, you know, an Irishman like him win there. I mean, Brooks once again showed his major dominance with the top 4, which even felt somewhat disappointing the way he opened up on Sunday. But, you know, again, you would have loved Tommy to hit some of those putts to put a little pressure on. But overall, I mean, probably the coolest thing of the week was Bobby Mack pulling in that T6. So that was awesome for him getting back to the Open Championship next year. Unfortunately, he couldn't make it to Barracuda in time. But no, I mean, it was a fun few days. I loved watching golf at 3 a.m. in the morning and really getting that full coverage. It was a really cool week, and I loved Portrush. Portrush was beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, if I wasn't going to have the winner, it was cool that it was Lowry, you know, or like a Graham McDowell or even Rory. Like, I didn't have any action on any of them, but if I was going to pick a winner who I didn't have action on, it probably would have been one of those 3 just for the story. We've had a pretty good year of major stories now. And now the PGA Tour will get really kicked into high gear here with their FedEx Cup playoffs and going to be ending really quickly, I feel like. So, but have no fear, there's plenty of European golf after that.
We do have a hot race right now between Brooks and Cooch for the Wyndham Rewards. That's wrapping up here in a couple weeks. I was literally listening to No Laying Up before this, and if Brooks goes on, he's first right now in Wyndham. He's tied for first in that Aon Risk thing that they're running. And then, obviously, you know, if you're starting the Tour Championship with the scoring differences that they are this year, he could literally pull in $18 million from the end of the Wyndham till FedEx.
Yeah, it's a real shame he doesn't care about any of it.
That's going to be interesting. What if he, like, doesn't show? Like, just says, hey, Wyndham, I'm good. Like, I'll see him maybe at the Tour Championship.
I mean, I think he'll show, but I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
he's
18
funny.
mil.
I love Brooks, but he's hilarious. Like, I don't know. I think he just sets himself up for when he doesn't play well outside of majors. It's like, well, I just don't care.
It's just built a personality that people, you know, love to root for and kind of see the next antics. I mean, of course, we're all
same
in
thing
on
I
it,
do
so.
as a child or any other time. I had something fit like, yeah, I don't really care anyway. So not a big deal. I wasn't trying to win. But anyway, so we'll just dive right into it here. Probably be a little bit of a shorter podcast. It is a smaller field. It is a no-cut event. Don't have to worry about cut sweats. So fire up Keegan Bradley, I guess. I don't know. But we'll start at the top. Pretty heavy pricing. So we have 6 guys above 10K, 3 above 11K. The 3 above 11 are Brooks, DJ, and Rory, coming in at 11.6, 11.4, and 11.1. Do you have any thoughts on any of these 11K guys?
I mean, we just came out talking about him, but I mean, It's interesting. Brooks and DJ obviously both have some history here. DJ with his win last year. Brooks has 2 top 3s in 16 and 15. Actually, DJ has 2 wins here. The other one was in 2012. And I mean, I feel like I'm a broken record every time I come on this, but I just still want to go with the number 1 golfer in the world because I don't understand people. I don't understand people continuing not to play Brooks. I don't know if they'll do it again this week. It's early on. We're Tuesday, but I see no reason to not go back to the well and make him my top golfer above 11K for sure.
I can't really guess ownership. I'd assume maybe this is when DJ peaks above them with course history, but like you said, Brooks has it too. I think, for me, it's DJ and Rory ahead of Brooks slightly. It has nothing to do with his not playing in majors. I would assume this is a big enough event for him to maybe play some practice rounds. But I think I'm just leaning, I don't know, flip a coin, but I lean, without getting too heavily into it, Rory, then DJ, just due to, I pretty much ranked them in order of their ball striking for the season. So if we jump down to the 10K range, we then go JT at 10.7, Rahm 10.4, Fleetwood at 10.2, and the guy I highlighted here would be Jon Rahm at 10.4. I think if I'm going to play any of these guys, it will be Rahm. Again, just heavily focused on the ball striking at this course. You can gain off the tee, but you don't have to, and it's harder to run away from the field off the tee at this course. I think I look back through 2014, the top 5 performances off the tee, all of them miss the cut. So, yes, be good off the tee. You don't want to be losing a ton, but you don't need to run away with it. It's about the irons, so I'm going to stick with red hot Jon Rahm.
Yeah, I don't fault you there. I mean, JT cannot make a putt to save his life. When we're looking at kind of the odds boards, I mean, Rahm, comparing them to, if we're looking at Fleetwood and JT, there is a significant decrease in odds there. So you're getting a pretty solid salary saver when we're looking at that compared to JT. And just Tommy's got to be gassed, man. I don't know. Like, that seems – I mean, no fault. I also said I'm going to be in on Brooks. It just feels like I can show up and trust that. Tommy, I don't know. It's just
he seemed more
he's
mentally
also priced
dejected.
Extremely higher. For sure. And he's, 1,200 more than he was last week?
I mean, last week was a mistake, but I don't know. Yeah, I think it was 9,700 last week.
Okay. So
either way, I guess it's all mind games for me with Tommy. Like, because he is a better with the irons than Rahm. I am gonna consider some of the dejection. Like, I know he's coming over here, but is he coming over here? I mean, is he really gonna be here mentally ready for this after that? I don't know. He seemed like he really wanted it, and I don't know. I could be completely wrong. He's a professional athlete. Maybe he shows up. He can put it behind him for 4 days, play extremely well. The risk I'm willing to take is playing Jon Rahm.
it just seems absurd when you just look at basic odds, though, that Rahm is 12-1 and $200 more than Fleetwood, who's 22-1. When you have these golfers in the 9K range with the same or better odds to win, and ultimately you need them to compete, and that's no fault to Tommy with it. He just comes off of that great performance, but they boosted that price while others stayed kind of in that same range they were.
Right. Yeah. So dipping down into that 9K range. I honestly don't mind playing any of these guys at this course. The only one, this is going to be funny, the only one who I didn't highlight was Stenson, who has like the best irons of late, but the short game, I don't know. I guess I could play Stenson. I don't know why I didn't highlight him. I don't know. Any of these guys can fill in your roster, and I would not be upset about it.
Before we really even get deep, I mean, obviously we're continuing to go into players, but just the general basics that we talked about in a WGC, how this is so much different on a DraftKings standpoint, where these stances or these decisions you're making, you don't have to run the risk of losing out on 2 days because you want to take more of a stance, in regards to kind of your GPP lineups. Cash is probably a different ballgame, but in regards to the GPP lineups where you can realistically, if you didn't love someone last week because they struggle on links courses and that might affect their ownership this week, you don't run the risk of playing a Rose based off of lower ownership compared to Cantlay or X or Stenson because, even though he has not played the best, kind of lead in, it's kind of a different way you can make sure you have the stance guaranteed for 4 straight days of an outcome. So that's where, like you said, all these guys I think are consistent.
I would avoid Stenson. Like his weighted birdie or better rate is not good.
No, yeah. So that's for me where I'm kind of. I think Cantlay's a far greater class than the other ones, in my opinion. Cantlay's virtually been the best golfer of 2019. On a consistency standpoint.
Yep.
Right there with DJ and Rory, pretty much. If we just talk consistent, high finishes, but. I still think you can get interesting if you're like max entering some of these contests this week with playing around in that 9K range.
Yeah, like I said, if I had to rank them, I think I'd go. I'd probably start with Cantlay, Xander, Rose, Kuchar, Stenson, somewhere in there. But again,
that would be my exact order too.
That's tough. Like if you're going to be making multiple lineups, if I end up making, more than 3 this week, probably a heart of them will be from here. So, and then we dip down into the upper 8s. So Hideki's 8-9, Bryson 8-8. He'll be popular. Adam Scott 8-7. Spieth 8-6, and Shane Lowry was 8-5. We don't think he's playing, so you can ignore him. So Hideki, Bryson, Scott, Spieth. I think I could get behind playing Bryson. Maybe even Adam Scott, since, again, you don't have to worry about him getting cut. Maybe he'll switch to his sweeping putter before the second round.
This range is interesting again. Like, I do think Bryson will probably be definitely the most popular in this range, if not the most popular player on the entire slate. And I bet him at 33. I don't know if you pulled the trigger yet or not.
Nope.
But he seemed like basically the industry's betting him just due to what he did at John Deere. Not a links guy, goes over, misses the cut, comes right back, and we get a decent number again. I think that's why we, are pulling the trigger on Bryson, and I'm happy with the 33 that they offered. But I like Hideki a lot. Going back here, literally, again, he's went on the premier ball striker that's out there. He of course struggled last week and has missed the last 2 cuts at Open Championships, but he's a birdie machine. We know he can ball strike, does great on par 4s. So for me, I really like Hideki as almost one of my favorite plays of the whole slate. And I know this isn't links again, but I enjoyed rooting for Jordan Spieth a little bit in the villain role last week. Like, I don't know when to give it up because he's going to keep being low owned.
Yeah, but is that the type of course that he needs for where his game is at right now? I actually do. I don't play Spieth very much, but when you do, it is always fun rooting for him because nobody else is. But I don't do it often, so I don't root for him often. However, I will not be back on him this week. It's just can't do it yet. Irons are still trash.
They are, and there's no fault to that.
He's going
it's
to
just
need
simply
them this week.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. It's just more, does he have the birdie upside? I mean, arguably, he put himself in so many chances, running that birdie stretches on, tough holes that he did last week, but he just throws it away, so many times with the bogeys. Is that going to be, a better payoff at a WGC when I don't have to worry if he's so off that he's going to miss the cut, type of thing. So,
I don't know. I might get kicked in the shin by Adam Scott again. His weighted birdie or better, he's 92nd percentile. I imagine, he burned a lot of people last week. Not going to be thrilled with Adam Scott. I don't know if I have the balls to play him in a single entry, just because if the putting woes are like they are, he won't make birdies. But he's actually been putting well this season. I don't know why he I'd love to. Maybe he said why he switched back. I don't know. I didn't watch him talk after, but I don't know. That's the decision for me, is if I want to stomach playing Adam Scott again this week, who has played well here in the past.
Yeah, no, I think it's a great strategy doing that with Scott, and we'll get into some others later that really burned people. That, I still think when we talk game theory, that this is another chance that's you can be riskier without having to accept as much risk due to the lack of miscuts. It's not evident there. So things will play out more over 4 days, where if you find somebody who's extremely talented to get into a WGC field like all these guys are at, a quarter of the ownership of what Bryson may be, maybe that's a stretch in a quarter, but, I think that's worth it. I like Scott too.
So I assume when we get into the lower eights, led off by Finau at 8.4, down to Reed at 8K. What are you going to do with Paul Casey?
Gosh, man, it's gross. It's gross with Casey. I mean, I tried to get on him for Sunday Showdown in the good weather last week at the Open, and he, finished bogey, 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 which was, just him continually kicking us, because I've felt like his game, again, should set up great here. When we talk about ball strikers and consistent, I think he played here once, 24th, nothing great. But he just seems kind of a class of a field when we're looking at that type of pedigree that we need for ball striking here. And I don't truthfully love anybody. There's one at 8K I really like, but I feel like people are going to run back to Tony after last week. Don't love Day. Webb's fine. Woodland's been off since 1. I don't play Louis very often. That gets to me playing. I really like Tyrell. I think Hatton's been exceptional the last 2 weeks. Does this mean he's going to carry over to a non-links course? His ball striking's been there. I really, really like him.
Yeah, I highlighted Webb again. I just think he's been consistently underpriced for how he's been playing. I know he didn't completely show up last week. I think he was like T30 or somewhere right around there. But just overall, tee to green, the game's still been outstanding. I think 8,200 is an exceptional deal. And I don't know about Hatton. He finally paid off playing him last week. I feel like that might be the first time I played him all year, and he made a cut. So that was nice. None of these guys have been flashing the irons all that well all season, though, except Casey in this range. So that's the tough one for me. But I think if I can get a read on all these golfers are good, obviously, in this field. So I think I'll be playing the ownership angle even more this week, trying to just, if no one's going to play Jason Day, okay, I'll play Jason Day. If literally no one's going to play Gary Woodland or Louis, then okay, I'll play some Gary and Louis. It honestly might just be a contrarian week to the fullest if I can get any glean on what ownership's going to be.
Yeah, and I wouldn't fault you on that.
It's going to be pretty high overall. There's only so many guys you can play, especially if you want to get a couple of these guys above 9K. It's going to force your hand down low. So
for sure. And we didn't have strokes gained data at the Open, contrary to popular belief. There's no strokes gained stats over there, but we had him at the Scottish on our end, and that's when Hatton led the field in ball striking. That's why we were so adamant. For me personally, that was just he finally turned a little bit of a corner. We get on him there. He finishes top 6. Arguably should have finished better. He threw away Friday and Saturday's rounds with late bogeys. He got to -6 early on Friday. I thought he was going to post a number, and then he went bogey, bogey, or he went double bogey, bogey in the last 4 holes. I killed that. I don't know. I think I'm going to probably pull the trigger on a number if I see a 66 again on him too. But yeah, I'm cool with going down to the 7s now.
Yeah, so Ches, Rafa, Sergio, Putnam, Fitz, Wallace, Leishman, I highlighted Ches, and that was before even diving into the weighted course history that we do, which I don't really let it steer me all that much anyway, but it's always nice to see when the guy you like at 7.9K is atop the list. again, all around, Ches has been having a pretty solid year. The approach numbers, he's 70th percentile in this field, which is pretty solid. This is, one of the deepest fields of the year. So I think I like Ches at 7.9. I could get behind Fitzpatrick at 7.7. The debate for me will be Sergio at 7.8. I mean, talk about ball striking, but everything else has been trash.
I love the Ches call, and I think he's probably overpriced relative to the name value around here, which hopefully lowers the ownership. Like we talked about, good course history, so could come in the middle of that too. But yeah, he's my favorite play when we talk about getting up here. But my argument becomes, and I'm infuriated with him last week, but RCB, like, it's the same kind of narrative of being all over somebody. I mean, he was probably second or third highest owned guy last week, misses the cut by a mile. People are so upset with him. Comes back to a course he's done well on. And you just suck it up and play him again, because we know his weighted birdie or better, chances is higher than a lot of people in this range. So I don't hate him either.
And he's seen the course too. He's played here at a couple.
Yeah. He finished
St. Jude's
second.
Before.
He finished fourth 2 years ago. What it was.
Like, I'd rather a guy have seen the course than necessarily all the course history, but that's another discussion. But yeah, I can get back on Rafa too. Again, don't have to worry about him missing the cut. So, and the birdie appeal is there.
Putnam almost chased down DJ last year here.
Yeah, he
and
probably
then
would have won
comes
it
over
like
after
5 other years if DJ.
Oh, absolutely. So, he put up minus. Oh, he won by. So Putnam got minus 13, which was the second highest score of all time since 2009 here. So, yeah. But I don't know. Like, he's another one. Is he the class of guys up here? Is he going to attract ownership because of 2 Great Links performances and then comes back when arguably you could play Ches, who's probably a better golfer, right around there at a lower ownership for $200, $100 more?
Yeah, I have Ches, Rafa, and Leishman are all rate out pretty well for me at the same area. The other one who's up there who just sucked last week, and I had warned that he had never really done well at all in an open, was Billy Horschel at 7.5. I don't know if I'm going to play him here, but he rates out in the 7K range as one of the upper guys for me overall, in the overall model. So we can get down into that range. Danny Willett making an appearance on the leaderboard in a major again. 7,600. Matt Wolff, I assume he will be very popular at 7,500.
He will?
I don't know. I feel like he's still the hot new thing. He's won. I don't know.
They priced him up more than I expected, which I'm happy. I'm happy to see.
I feel like he will be popular. I'm not the best at gauging ownership, but he also has a pretty solid birdie or better percentage weighted, which is important because he's been playing a lot of weak field events. So look at how he's been doing against the field, folks. So even in the easy events, I think I'll be in. I just, you're not going to be able to dodge ownership completely in this event.
No, and I pulled the trigger at 90 on his outright because
I did bet him at 90.
He's probably one of. If you don't talk about the Asian Tour guys that are coming over, he's probably one. They had to travel too. One of 5 guys in this field who didn't play last week. And also, what about debutant at WGC? Like, this is a massive deal for Matt Wolff to get in here. You know what I mean? Like, this is a huge celebration, let alone a chance to compete against the top guys. Virtually he got snubbed not getting the Open because he won the 3M, not the John Deere Rocket Mortgage.
Yeah, he won the one in the sandwich event.
You have these top golfers coming over after a grueling week and traveling. And I get, travel probably not that big of a deal, but what's the motivation factor after the last major of the year to come to somewhere they're a guaranteed check already? Yeah. Like, where Matt Wolff, this is his Super Bowl, arguably, you would say in the moment for right now. So So that's where I think like I'm absolutely playing Wolf single entry. I bet him. He's as motivated as it comes, and the upside there of guaranteeing 4 days of his birdie rate at that price.
Yeah. So before we run through the bottom of this field, since there's not too many guys left, like are there just 3 guys down here that kind of, anyone in particular you want to talk about? Like there's Phil at 7-3 who's interesting due to he showed up and played this before Aaron Hills when he wasn't even going to play Aaron Hills. Like he just showed up and said, I've really grown to like this course.
12, 9, 2, 3, 11, 2 his last 6 years here.
Yeah. But he's also the guy before the Open who said, I feel like crap. I'm not playing well. My game is lost. I'm just here because I love golf and I love this event. So has much changed in a week? But 7,300, I think it could be the feel-good vibes. He's got a decent birdie rate compared to the rest of the field down here. I think it could be worth the shot in a couple GPP lineups.
I mean, it's again risk reward to it. It's just a pure birdie type of thing. So I mean, if we look at the start of 2018-19 season, where does Phil percentile look for that weighted birdie
from this year?
Start of 19, yeah.
He's 67th percentile in this field, which down here is the highest. He's the highest below 7,500. That's a lie. He is. Because Matthew Wolff is 7,500. So below 7,500, it's him. It's then Keith Mitchell, who cannot hit an iron shot to save his life. I assume he'll be popular back on Bermuda. I will pass. I will risk missing out on Keith Mitchell's resurgence. Hao Tong Lee is down here at 6,600, which seems low. I don't know. Maybe I overrate Hao Tong, but 6,600 just seems pretty low for a guy of his ability. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I agree with Hao Tong. I mean, he burned me at the Scottish, and then I stayed away at the Open. But again, guys like that who we don't have to run the risk of missing a cut. Like 6,600 to, like, is there that much difference in playing him and like Matt Fitzpatrick or Sergio? Like I for $1,000 for DK points only, you know what I mean? Like that's, I don't know, like that seems like a big difference of what you can really fit in that lineup and get a little bit more risk adverse. So I like Hao Tong too.
And then another guy down here I think will be popular is Keegan Bradley. So
yeah, I was going to say I like Keegan too, but what are we going to run into?
He doesn't make a lot of birdies. Like, it's crazy. Well, I mean, it's not that crazy because he's a shitty putter. So I did not highlight him. Basically, the ball striking's there. It's the rest of the game is not. So how many birdies is he going to rack up? This has not been, again, this is a deeper field than this course has ever seen, but it's historically hasn't been an easy course. So at least relative to par. So I don't necessarily know if this will be a birdie race, but I mean DJ put on a clinic but again he won by 5-6 shots. I don't have the leaderboard in front of me, but
won by 6, yeah.
So
walked it off with that eagle.
Oh yeah, jeez. I don't know. I don't know if I'll be on Keegan. I think that just goes back to the contrarian strategy of this week, that anybody down here who's just going to get lump ownership, I'll find someone else I'd rather play because, like I said, they're all pretty solid golfers. Man Rocket's down here with a solid showing last week, which probably means an awful showing this week. That's the way he's been playing. Thor all the way down here. I don't know. I personally think I'm just going to try to avoid the masses for the most part.
Can we just say, is Man Rocket now like Brooks Light with these top 20s and majors and literally nothing else going on the rest of the year?
Yeah, doesn't care. Not a major, don't care. Oh, major, all right. I'm going to show up in T20 it.
I mean, a 20. The 4th at the WGC match play, then the 21st of the Masters, another top 10 at the PGA, or another top 20 at the PGA. Did miss the cut badly at the U.S. Open, and then like 18th, I think, last week. Like, it was awesome to see him and Harding back. Like, those are two guys that I really, really like. This week, I don't know. Like, I don't feel like
No one's gonna
for how
play
they
him.
are.
I mean,
Yeah.
we know Man Rocket is more than capable of running on a birdie train.
Absolutely. And then a bogey train to follow.
Just as likely to follow it with the bogey train. So
yeah. So, I mean, like, yeah, I think him and Harding are interesting. Cam Smith kind of died on the Sunday with most people, but good to see him pop again last week. It just doesn't seem like a course that Cam, like, his biggest skill set is his around the green game and being good on the greens. Like, an Open Championship actually is perfect for him. I don't know why. And shout out EPAT for putting a lot of people on him and sending that tweet where he had a run at it. It's just good to see Cam back. But yeah, I don't think I need to do it here. I like Houghton, like we said. If we go Man Rocket and Harding, I do think people will get back to Keith Mitchell, which I'm okay staying away from.
I mean, Corey Connors, if we're talking ball striking, 6,300, can't putt, get 4 rounds. Like, broken record.
Yeah,
here,
and I think Homa kind of is just like that same thing too. Like,
yeah, I think that could be how I go, and I could lose every dollar I play this week. But if I find a handful of guys 8K and up who's nobody's going to be on, at least less people. Everyone's going to get some ownership. But if I can find those handful up there and then just literally mix and match them with a couple of these ball strikers down here who are going to get 4 rounds, like, I'm not going to play like Shugo or Horikawa, Erickson. Like, I'm not going to play those guys, but I think might be able to make some steady. You're definitely going to be unique. So that's what I'm going for this week. That pure game theory. Watch me lose every dollar when all the chalk strikes gold.
Yeah, no, I mean, that pretty much just does it for me. Like, I think you can run more risks in GPP lineups due to the ability to guarantee yourself four rounds out of every single one of your guys. So just hope you don't run into a withdrawal.
Yeah, that'll be interesting too with this being played right after the Open. Be curious to see who shows up and if those guys who didn't play last week seem to have a slight mental or physical edge. I don't know. It's going to be hot as hell down there too. So kept it a little shorter this week. Very small field. The Barracuda Open, the Barracuda Stableford scoring is happening. If you want to watch other golf, the Stableford, if you're not aware, you get points for birdies, leave them for bogeys. They're not scoring to par, so it is a very interesting event. I bet Colin over there 14-1. That was pretty much my hammer bet, and then I think I bet Ryder and Albertson. I don't know what you're on for the Barracuda.
Yeah, I pulled the trigger on Sam Saunders at 60, Ryan Blom at 90, Albertson as well at 200, and then Tyrone Van Aswagen at 160. His approach has been pretty strong. And don't forget, we do have also 2 major championships happening this week. One on the LPGA, the Evian, I believe, championship, and then we got our boy Ken Duke playing some links golf in the Senior Open Championship.
Hell yeah.
It's crazy. The LPGA runs back-to-back majors. They run this major, and then it's Open next week. That's nuts.
I love it because that means the books are going to offer LPGA head-to-heads and 3 balls more than they would on a regular week. So I'm pretty excited. We got a good number on
HJ Kemp.
Got a great number on HJ. Was it 25, 26?
Yeah, 25.
Yeah.
She's down to like 15, 16 most places.
That was nuts. She's my second rated golfer on the LPGA, so I was ecstatic when you texted me about that. So hopefully she can pull through, get a major victory, and hopefully get another crap number on her at the Open if she doesn't. So,
amen.
That's kind of where we're at with the golf week this week. Again, short and sweet. The Listener League link will be posted below the podcast, so be sure to enter that. And as well, I have to give a quick shout out to a Fantasy Golf Bag member, Augusta, who managed to take down the Pat Mayo Open Listener League for the Open Championship. So that's really awesome. Congrats to Augusta. That's a nice score to take down, rake free as well.
Quality, yes.
So yeah, hopefully we can see more green screens and more fantasy golf baggers up top in the Pat Mayo Open.
Amen.
Good luck.